Hi, I'm the presenter Alex Han, and I'm going to present our work, Good and Bad Boundaries in Ultrasound Compounding, Preserving Anatomic Boundaries while Suppressing Artifacts. So ultrasound is a path-dependent imaging modality, so some things can be seen in one view but couldn't be seen in another. For example, in the left image, the vessel walls of this vessel is only partially visible. The artifacts in the ultrasound images could potentially cause confusion on downstream image analysis algorithms. So in second image, it's hard to figure out whether this is an anatomic boundaries or an artifact. And on the third image, the reverberation artifact caused by the needle would occlude the structure underneath. So, however, current compounding methods when dealing with overlapping pixels either takes the maximum or some sort of average, thus they are not able to preserve anatomic boundaries and suppress the artifacts at the same time. This image shows that there are major flaws in the current methods. Averaging and uncertainty-based fusion, like these two images, which is they both make the compounded image darker, while taking the maximum preserves the artifacts in this one. So our main contribution are listed on the slide. Instead of taking the average or maximum, we use a pyramid-based methods that could better deal with overlapping pixels between different views. We also take the confidence and contrast information into account so that the algorithm would suppress the artifact and enhance the boundaries better. Besides, we also identify the anatomic boundaries in advance and treat them differently while compounding. Our method is also able to take the advantages of different compounding methods and smartly combine them at different frequency scales. So here's a brief overview of our compounding algorithm. So these two are the input images, and this is the output image. We utilize the intensity and structural confidence map proposed in reference 4, where they measure how sure we are about the pixel values at each pixel. Please refer to that paper for more details. We calculate the confidence maps of the two input images and built Laplacian and Gaussian pyramids for the input images and the confidence maps. The main idea is to apply some compounding methods at each scale and generate the output image. To generalize our method, we can use multiple compounding methods at each scale and combine them together. For example, we use method 1 and 2, whatever they are, to combine them at each scale, and we use some weighting function phi to combine the results. Besides, we perform an anatomic boundary enhancement at the third layer of the pyramid. So the following is a slightly more detailed explanation of our method. So for more details, please refer to our paper. To enhance the boundaries, we need to identify the good boundaries first. The method is built based on the appearances of the boundaries and artifacts. So our observation is that the real boundaries are usually not too close to each other, while the artifacts are. Then the pseudocode of the method is shown on the slide. So during compounding, we plan to combine two different methods at different scales. The first one is contrast maximization based on the structural confidence. So structural confidence measures the likelihood of pixels not being an artifact pixel. On a certain layer of the pyramid, if the difference of structural confidence between different views is less than the threshold gamma, then we take the pixel with the maximum contrast shown as in equation 1. Else we take the pixel with the larger structural confidence shown, which is equation 2. In these images, in these equations, G gamma MK is the kth layer of Gaussian pyramid of the structural confidence map for image M, and GI is the Gaussian pyramid of the image. Another method we propose to use is an intensity confidence-based weighted average. So intensity confidence measures how sure we are about the pixel values. Shown in equation 3 is the weighted average, where GC is the Gaussian pyramid of the intensity confidence, and now it is the Laplacian pyramid of the result. Equation 4 shows how to combine these two methods, where phi is a weighting function that indicates the weight for each method at different scales. In this paper, we propose to use phi as equation 5. We can also generalize our method by combining like more compounding methods instead of only two, and like by different weighting functions. And this is shown in equation 6 and 7. So the last thing about the method is that since some boundaries might be falsely removed during artifact-free contrast maximization and the weighted average could make the images darker, we utilize the mask generated by the boundary detection we propose and enhance the detected boundaries at the third layer of the pyramid. Our method is tested on phantom images, ex vivo lamp parts, and live pig images. So for qualitative analysis, the image on the left is the result on the phantom images. The first two columns are the input images taken from the orthogonal viewpoint like that. And then are the average, maximum, uncertainty-based fusion and our method. It can be seen that our method preserves the actual boundaries better than uncertainty-based fusion and removes most of the artifacts unlike the maximum. The results on the lamp part are shown on the top right corner, where we can see that at the red arrows, R and maximum are the only two methods that can preserve the contrast at the blue, but at the blue arrow, maximum fails to preserve the contrast. So pig images, we show that our method works in removing artifact cast by the vessels, and our method is also good when the images are taken from more than two viewpoints. This is an experiment that shows the effects of different parts of the algorithm. So like we mentioned, one is the artifact-free contrast at maximization, two is the intensity confidence-based weighted average, and three is the edge enhancement. It can be seen that combining three methods together have the best result. Like without enhancing the edges, it's clear that the images are darker, and at the blue arrows, there are some irregular holes, and at the red arrows, there are some like more artifacts. For quantitative experiment, we first analyze the patches with artifact and patches with actual boundaries separately. For patches with artifacts, we wanted the variance and mean in those patches to be smaller because we want to suppress the artifacts. We propose the variance and mean ratio for evaluation. The variance ratio is the ratio between the variance of the patch and the variance of the whole image, and the same is for the mean ratio. For boundaries, patches, we only examine the variance ratio, and we want it to be large since we want to like maximize the contrast. The figure shows some like example patches where the red ones are the artifact patches and the green ones are the boundary patches. And the quantitative analysis, if quantitative results are shown in the table, it is clear that our method does a better job at preserving the contrast at actual boundaries while suppressing the artifacts. For the other quantitative analysis, we want to show that our method is valid by showing that it can help with underlying segmentation tasks. We take the patches with vessels and then apply OSU thresholding to separate the foreground and the background. And we fit an ellipse to the foreground pixels to segment the vessels. The figure is an example of the result. It can be seen that in some images, the artifact clearly messed with the segmentation, and in some other images, the vessels are darker, so the segmentation is not as good as ours. Like the quantitative results are in the table where it can be seen that such naive segmentation works best on the images generated by our method. And thanks for listening, and here are the references. Again, if you want to know more about the details about like the algorithm and our work, please refer to our paper. Thank you.